Yeah, so this is the Fortress Power 2022 roadmap. So about our company, we're a US-based manufacturer for lithium iron phosphate batteries. We're headquartered in Southampton, Pennsylvania. That's where you'll find most of our research and development, ownership, technical support, inside sales team. Pretty much everyone is in Pennsylvania except myself and one of the other sales managers. We have 3 warehouses throughout the United States where we ship from. One is in Texas, the other in Miami, and the third is in Southern California. Fortress Power has been in business for close to 6 years now. We're owned by a group of private equity investors as well as solar veterans. And in those 6 years, our company has done over 20,000 installations throughout the United States, Canada, Central Caribbean, Europe, and Asia. So we have been in the energy storage market for a good amount of time, so to speak. And with over 20,000 batteries deployed, we're confident that our manufacturing is at a very high level, as we've seen less than 1% of warranty claims on our batteries that are installed so far. Our company's been a key lithium battery supplier for several government and utility entities. One in particular that we're proud to note is that we were the primary battery supplier for SEPTA, SEPTA being the Southeastern Pennsylvania Transit Authority. And what our company has done is we have provided a battery backup for all of SEPTA's traffic signals throughout their railways. For those on the West Coast that aren't familiar with SEPTA, SEPTA is a fairly large transportation authority covering Pennsylvania. They have a lot of railways throughout the state. So it was a fairly large project and one that we're proud to say that we took part of. Then about our financing partners, Fortress Power is approved with most financing partners in our industry. So if your end users are going to be using Fortress Power batteries and looking for financing, it shouldn't be too difficult shouldn't be that difficult for them to obtain that. We're approved with the big names like SunGage and Sunlight Financial, Mosaic, and Lightstream. So I believe having these type of partnerships is a testament also to Fortress Power's strong bankability and strong financials. And just a little bit more about our company. I think one thing that separates us, aside from the technology and chemistry that we use in our batteries, is that we really have strong customer support. We realize that energy storage is a new thing for a lot of installers, or perhaps just using a Fortress Power battery may be a new thing. So we have a strong team in place that's readily available. They've been trained and they've been trained to realize that this could be the first time someone's commissioning a battery, and so they will field questions with the patients and make sure that everyone is taken care of and that their battery's commissioned, or whatever type of questions need be. It's not difficult to get a hold of our technical support team, and they're available through email or phone. Then jumping into our product roadmap, we'll discuss what's currently available first. The primary battery being the eVault Max 18.5. This is a tier 1 automotive cell prismatic lithium iron phosphate battery. It's warranted for 10 years or up to 8,000 cycles with the 80% depth of discharge. For those in California, this is the largest approved unit for SCHIP projects. It's the rebate is it's approved for up to 17.7 kilowatt hours on the AC side. It's a fairly easy to install battery. Shouldn't take more than 10-20 minutes to install. The physical extent of installing the eVault Max is going to be taking the battery cables from the eVault and placing them onto the terminal of the inverter. It is a fairly heavy unit at 500 pounds. One good thing about the eVault Maxes, though, if your screen zoom in enough, you can see that there's some screws on the front case, and so the front cover is removable, and that'll allow you to remove the battery packs from the eVault Max in case the unit needs to go up into into an attic or down into a basement. 500 pounds is a fairly heavy unit for even 3 or 4 people to be lugging around. So it's nice to be able to take the cells out and make the unit a lot more manageable. The eVault Max does come with a nice LCD display. As you can see here, the LCD display illustrates the battery's current, power output, the voltage, and the state of charge percentage. And this unit is not only a good choice for whole home backup, but it's also applicable in small commercial projects as well. You can scale or run the eVault Max in parallel up to 370 kilowatt hours or 20 units. And then lastly, the eVault Max is able to offer closed loop communications with many different types of 48 volt hybrid inverters, such as Solar, Schneider, SMA, Outback, and Victron. Oh, and I lied. There's one more point I wanted to make. The eVault Max is UL 9540 certified, and it's undergoing 9540A testing. We expect that we should have certification for 9540A within the next 8 weeks, so fairly soon here.
Oh, and really quick, Gary, if anyone has any questions, you can type it in the Q&A or the chat. I think there's one. Someone just said, what does the SGIP acronym stand for?
That's the authority in California that provides rebates for end users that have installed a battery as part of their home energy storage system. I can't remember what exactly the SGIP stands for specifically, but it's a California-based entity. And then here's just some different pictures of different case studies of the eVault Max. A lot of these are more on the commercial side, but the one in the middle here with the 2 units, this appears to be a residential installation. All right, trying to change slides here. Here we go. Got caught up for a second. Our second battery is the eFlex 5.4 kilowatt hour battery. This is our smaller, more versatile unit, hence the name. The eFlex can be mounted on the floor and can be mounted on the wall, which we make a wall mount kit for. And it also can go in a standard computer server rack. And when Purchase Power makes a couple different rack configurations as well that I'll cover in the next couple slides here. But in regards to the eFlex 5.4, this is a nice option for projects where the battery needs to be stored outdoors, as this is an indoor or an outdoor rated unit. It does come with the IP65 rated enclosure that's really going to help protect the unit from your day-to-day humidity and dust, rain. It has some really nice slots built into the top of the enclosure here. And those aren't built into the unit for aesthetic purposes. The slots are actually built in to help the eFlex dissipate heat quicker. And so if you look at 3 of the main reasons why a battery will degrade over time, it's humidity, dust, and heat dissipation. We feel that the enclosure built around the eFlex addresses those issues well and will ensure the battery a longer life than some of our competitors' units will. For 2022, the eFlex does come with battery covers for the terminals. As you can see on the right-hand side here, the red and black caps will cover the positive and negative terminals on the eFlex. So if this is going to be stored outdoors and the homeowner doesn't want to have an enclosure built around it, it may not be necessary, as the plastic caps for the battery terminals will keep them dry anyways. The eFlex can be a good choice for a whole home backup. It'll also work in a small commercial application as well. The eFlex can be run in parallel up to 15 units or 81 kilowatt hours. And the eFlex is currently approved for UL 9540 and 9540A. This is a closer up picture of the eFlex. As you can see here, the positive and negative terminals are on the left-hand side. It has the CAN bus and Modbus and RS-485 outputs on the right-hand side. There's an on and off switch in the middle, as well as a LED status indicator for the battery here. It's not quite as detailed as the LED indicator on the eVault Max, but there is one at least on the eFlex. And we are working on an add-on accessory that will enable the end user to view the battery statistics directly from their smartphone. And here's some pictures of different case studies for the eFlex. On the bottom left here, you can see some are mounted on the floor, and then the other three, they all are wall mounted using different types of inverters here. I mentioned that Forges Power makes a rack for the eFlex as well. This is called the Flex Rack unit. This rack is expandable up to 4 units or 15 eFlex batteries in total. The limitations of the battery in parallel are 81 kilowatt hours. So that's why the limit is for 4 flex racks. Each flex rack comes with a set of integrated bus bars, as well as 4 sets of battery cables for easy stacking. And then for end users that are going to be in a more of a cold weather environment, the flex rack does come with a rail mount built into it, so the installer can add a thermostat to the unit if necessary. The pictured version here is an indoor unit, but we are working on an outdoor rated version as well. And then here's a picture of some of the flex racks getting installed, and then on the left-hand side is the completed installation. Looks really nice with the eFlexes in there. Our batteries can be DC coupled or AC coupled. So if an end user has an existing PV array and they want to add in an energy storage system to that, then Forges Power batteries are a nice solution for that. Our batteries can AC couple into any existing array up to 22 kilowatts. So you can really turn any PV system into a battery-ready system using our batteries. You would just need to AC couple into that system using one of the 4 compatible inverters below here, those being Schneider, Outback, SMA, and Solar. And so just covering the compatible inverters, we're compatible with Schneider, Outback, Magnum, SMA, Solar, and Victron. And then out of those 6, we're able to offer closed loop communications with Schneider, SMA, Solar, and Victron. Then on the charge controller side, we're compatible with Morningstar and Midnight Solar charge controllers. This slide here covers just different backup options and different scenarios. Won't go too much into detail on this one, but I will send this to the Soligent team so they can distribute it if you're interested in taking a look at this. This is a useful document for sizing out batteries. And then jumping into some of the new products that we're working on, I mentioned that we have an add-on accessory that will enable the end user to view the battery's vital statistics. This product is called the Guardian. We're expecting to launch this sometime in the beginning of Q2, so fairly soon. It's a fairly inexpensive product, shouldn't be more than a couple $100. And aside from allowing the end user to view the battery's vital statistics, I think it's going to be really beneficial to installers as well. It will allow installers such as yourselves to make firmware updates online for systems that have the Guardian installed, rather than having to go on site and make the firmware updates manually as things are currently. So this small device will save time for both the end user and the installer. So we're very excited to launch this one. Mike, your question was, any talks with Outback on being compatible with the new Mojave? Yes, we have had discussions with them. I suspect that we will be able to make an announcement within, I would say, 3 to 4 months that we have closed loop communications with the Mojave. So yes, that is something we are working on. The second product that we're getting ready to launch. This one will be available in June. This is called the Dora Rack. This is an integrated solution that will be an enclosure for not only our eFlex battery, it will also store the an inverter as well. It's inverter agnostic, so you can store any of the inverters listed on the previous slide. But I think that this will be a nice solution for jurisdictions where batteries can no longer be stored indoors. We're seeing a lot more AHJs require batteries stored outdoors. So having a solution that'll enclose the inverter and the batteries, I think will be critical for this year. So we're really excited to launch this. As mentioned, this should be available in June. And this will enclose the eFlex. So again, this will hold up to 81 kilowatt hours of eFlex batteries, or 4 units, 4 Dora Rack units. Then lastly, towards the end of this year, we're working on a high voltage battery. We expect to announce this right around SPI, so looking like middle of September. This will be a 20 kilowatt hour unit, and there aren't a lot of high voltage inverters available in the market currently, but so far this unit will be compatible with Solis, GoodWe, SMA, and Fronius, and we're working on more partnerships, and we'll be announcing those as we get closer to the battery's launch date. And then we just recently launched a commercial ESS system called the eSpire 233. This is a nice unit that packages inverter and Fortress Power battery. We partnered with Delta Inverters on this unit. So the eSpire comes with a 125 kilowatt Delta 3-phase inverter, as well as a 233 kilowatt hour Fortress Power battery pack. The system can be expanded up to 3.5 megawatt hours. So really will meet a nice niche in the commercial and industrial spaces. There aren't too many solutions that are under 10 megawatt hours that are currently available. So I think this will really solve a lot of problems for projects in that space. We expect to see the most common applications for the eSpire to be peak shaving for demand charge management, as well as load shifting for time of use savings. But this product will work in an off-grid function as well. So there's certainly various scenarios that the eSpire would be a nice choice. As mentioned, it can go up to 3.5 megawatt hours on the battery side. On the inverter side, the system can be expanded up to 5 inverters, or 625 kilowatts. This is a per project product, so we need to manufacture the eSpire per project. It's about a 3 to 4 month lead time from when we receive the order to when it would be stateside and ready to install. So please keep that in mind for this product. So that's pretty much it for the products. Just wanted to cover a little bit more about the different types of cells and technology that Fortress Power uses that help differentiate us from some of our competitors out there. If you do install lithium iron phosphate batteries, it's important to realize that not all LFP batteries are the same. Different manufacturers use different combat mixes, which really help determine the quality and the longevity of the battery. The same cell manufacturer produces batteries at different quality levels based on the application, automotive being the highest quality, followed by energy storage, and then lastly, telecommunications. Fortress Power, we use the automotive cells, so we use the highest quality type of cells available for batteries, using automotive prismatic LFP cells, which have the best density and the best thermal stability. And then comparing the different types of cells, as mentioned, we use prismatic. Other manufacturers on the market, some of them use pouch, some of them use cylindrical. We are by no means the only company using prismatic cells, but if you are offering home energy storage to your customers, certainly want to go with the manufacturer that's using the prismatic cell. The prismatic cell is going to offer the greatest durability, thermal stability, as well as longevity. So for the end user, they want to have the most stable type of battery in their garage or outside their house as possible. And by offering a battery with prismatic cells, you're able to do that. You're able to offer that to the end user. So we have a question: what's the minimal temperature of the batteries the eFlexes can be installed in? That would be 32 degrees Fahrenheit is the minimum environmental temperature, and then the maximum would be 113 degrees Fahrenheit. So looking at the slide here, this is kind of an interesting slide. This is from the same tier 1 cell manufacturer. This is illustrating cell cycle life. Same manufacturer, but one of the cells is the Automotive cell, and the other cell is the Telecom cell. And as you can see here, at a 1C rating, which is a high charging rating, the Automotive cell is going to have nearly double the cycle life as the Telecom cell. So just getting back to my first point, you really want to go with a manufacturer that offers the highest quality cells, because it's going to enable the battery to last the longest. And then here's another slide. If you aren't familiar with C rating is basically the rate in which a battery is charged. Fortress Power, we recommend our batteries to be charged at 0.5 C rating. And as you can see here, by using a 0.5 C rating, the battery is going to have a much higher retention rate over the cycle lifespan versus charging the battery at a 1C rating. You're not going to get double, but almost double the cycle life, and certainly a much higher retention percentage if you charge the battery at 0.5 C versus 1C. And the reason I mention this is some of our competitors will say that their battery charges at a 1C rating at a really high rate. And while that may be true, this slide here is not specific to Fortress Power. This slide is specific to batteries in general. So any manufacturer stating that their battery does charge at a 1C rating, it is true, but you're not going to get as many cycles out of the unit. And certainly the battery retention rate is going to be much lower also. Skip this one. Then aside from the cells and the chemistry that we use, the last part of the battery that we really feel differentiates Fortress Power is we use a digital processor-based BMS. A lot of manufacturers out there, especially white label battery manufacturers, they'll use what's called a MOSFET BMS, or battery management system. A MOSFET BMS is really just a rudimentary circuit board, whereas when you have a digital processor in place, you have some real brains that are controlling the batteries or the battery bank. And by having a digital processor-based BMS in place, it's going to really protect the battery bank from thermal runaway, as well as the inverter's inrush current. Inrush current is when a large appliance is turned on and there's a big electrical surge through the system that could potentially damage the battery or the battery bank. By having a digital processor-based BMS in place, it'll help protect the units from this instance much better than a MOSFET BMS will. Yeah, so if you look at some of the differences between a MOSFET-based BMS and a digital processor BMS, you'll see that there's a lot of advantages that come with having a digital processor in place. You're going to certainly be able to charge and discharge the battery quicker. It's more reliable. It's going to be Internet of Things ready, and it'll also help with communications between the units in parallel if you do have more than one battery. So that's pretty much it, all I have for the presentation. I know that these things get more than 20, 25 minutes, start to put people to sleep, so I will try to prevent that today. The one last thing I'll note is kind of going back to my first point, what really separates our company from some of our competitors is the technical support. And it's not just that we have a technical support line or an email that our employees will respond to. We also have a page called Discord. Discord is an online chat community. And I think it was actually designed more for the gaming community. But in any case, our engineers are on Discord. And it's a great way for installers to engage with our techs and give feedback about some design issues or firmware updates they'd like to see. Pretty much anything about Fortis Power batteries. It's a nice place to have an ongoing dialogue rather than pick up the phone and call the tech team for a specific question. So it's just another way that we try to engage with our installer base, because we know how critical everybody is, and no one is just a number to Fortis Power. So we really want to service our installers. And also, Discord's a great place to get answers after hours. Our engineers are pretty much always on Discord. So if you have a question after 5 p.m. or on a Saturday, there's a good chance that you'll be able to get those questions answered through Discord outside of regular business hours. So I want to say thank you to everyone for sitting through my presentation. Hope it wasn't too long. And now I'll stop sharing my screen and I'll open it up to any questions anyone might have. Everyone's been being easy on me today. Jeez.
Looks like everyone's good. Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much, Gary, for sharing everything. I think for those who aren't here, and then for those who want a copy of the presentation, we have recorded it. So you could just let me know if you'd like to have access to that. I'll put my email in the chat right now. Oh, there's one more question in the Q&A. Oh, wait. I think we answered it.
There was the one about the environmental temperature. I don't see.
Oh, yeah. That's the one he answered live. I think that's the one where you said it was like 35.
Yeah, the minimum environmental temperature is 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, 32, yes.
And the maximum is 113 degrees.
I'll just type it in here.
Okay, what does the supply chain look like in the near future? I feel our company has done a really good job of planning for this year. Last year was difficult for a lot of manufacturers. We had some back orders as well, but I don't think we were nearly as impacted as some of our competitors. I will say what we've done to plan for this is Fortis Power has purchased all of the raw material for our battery production for 2022 already. So I don't suspect that there shouldn't be too many supply issues on our side. Probably the greater risk would be on the logistical side, getting our batteries from overseas to the United States. That was a bit difficult at the end of the year, but our warehouses are pretty fairly stocked right now in batteries. So we're doing everything we can to make sure that doesn't happen this year, as we suspect some of our competitors will have some supply issues, and that'll impact us as well. So we've planned pretty diligently for this, and hopefully we have strong supply throughout the year.
And then another question from Weston says, did you say the cabinets hold 4 batteries, but the max you can string together is 15?
Yes, that would be correct. So in the fourth cabinet, there would just be 3 units, 3 eFlex batteries.